Hello and thank you for coming. Today we're gonna go.
This man is going crazy. Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching us. Yes, let's start the show. Let's introduce ourselves. Blah, blah, blah.
And be super entertaining. So she's the Zoomer. She's here to entertain us, but she's very annoyed because her audio doesn't work.
Because he broke it.
The problem of the show, the usual techie person who brings in, apparently lots of problems. Irina, what's your role today?
Well, my role is to ask questions, usually business related ones. And today I'm going to ask a bunch of questions about effectiveness of the community. Those are the ones I haven't asked you before.
Wow.
Yay. And Zan, you're the guest. You are the DevRel person for CircleCI. And I assume you're the only and the best, or the best and the only.
No. I'm Jan or Zan, however you want to pronounce it. I'm a developer advocate, one of developer advocates at CircleCI. I cover the EMEA region, so Europe, Middle East, Africa, these time zones, starting from Britain and ending in Middle East-ish. We're kind of 3 developer advocates all around the world, one in the US, one in Japan, and myself. Kind of split the world across time zones neatly, or as neatly as possible. Anyway, and CircleCI.
Nice intro. Better than a legmate.
That's always. Yeah, Ran. And you have a professional community on Discord, and then you also stream to Twitch, and then you also have a Discuss forum. And where do we even start? I guess the main point of the show is to figure out what do you make of professional communities why people come in for probably for support, not to make friends. So what do you do with them? Do you still, I don't know, enable the, like, do you still have the movies and I know book clubs or like the casual chat so people bond, or is it like a pure support work?
So CircleCI is let me rewind a couple of steps.
Yes, please.
To give you a little bit of context, we're a CI/CD platform. So for DevOps practitioners, we enable teams to build, release, deploy their software on our platform with using our tools quickly and efficiently. So a bunch of that kind of automation that comes from writing code and running that on any platform that you want to run it on, from Kubernetes to mobile app stores and that kind of stuff. So we have a few communities. One, and probably the most known of our communities and the oldest, is our Discuss forum, which is predominantly our support and announcements outlet. So support is obviously a very big part because there is a significant portion of our product which is free to use. So you can get started for free. You have like a free tier. You get like building to learn about the platform, maybe have some hobby projects deploying, and that's just not feasible to have like dedicated support people answering like individual tickets for that. So for that, that's why we have this kind of support forum, so that everyone essentially contributes to that knowledge base, like this common knowledge base. So if we solve a problem for one person, 30 others can search and find the same solution without us having to do much more work. So that's the main thing. The other one is obviously announcements that we haven't touched on yet, which is if we're doing stuff, releasing things in beta, if we're doing like smaller releases, we can use that to say, okay, this is coming out, or maybe these changes are happening to some of our platform's features or images or something like that that people use to build stuff on. and that's kind of great to get some feedback, to get it across to folks, because that community still gets a lot of uh, I don't want to say footfall, but it has a lot of people going to it and interacting on it on a daily basis. So it's like a good avenue for that. Um, and yeah, there
That's a
is
long
obviously,
discuss, right? You
sorry,
you were still
yeah,
talking
that's
about
discussed.
discuss.
That's discussed. That's the original kind of CircleCI community. That if you have heard of CircleCI, if you've used it, then you have probably this is the community that you're talking about, or this is the community that you have in mind. And there is less book clubs, there is less hangouts happening, but there is definitely opportunity for me to say, okay, I'm actually running this stream, or I'm actually running this live event. Maybe you should check us out there, and link to wherever we're doing that. For example, Twitch. I think you're showing Twitch now, so yeah. So that's the other aspect of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you still have Discord.
So Discord is a newer tool for us. So we started using it quite recently, and for some things, like real time communication is a lot better than like this asynchronous support forum. How to so that's, for example, for our interactions on meetups, or live streams, where we can actually get instantaneous feedback to what we're doing. Like, for example, we're streaming this now, and essentially during our streams and during our meetups, we're kind of observing what's happening with the community, and asking people to interact, and do jokes and stuff like that, so that we all can have a little bit of more fun during our streams and conversations, and all the kind of relevant Q&A that's kind of topical to the kind of content that's currently live goes into there, and it stays there as well, so anyone can scroll through it and see, okay, I want to see these couple of links and bookmark them or whatever.
I have a question. Why is your company so smart? Why you realize that you need a community for your company? Why not Facebook page with fake followers and fake likes?
Like slap.
Why is I
Because a
mean,
lot of companies, they like, oh no, it's okay. We have 45K followers in our Facebook. It's enough. It's okay that nobody is liking us. It's okay that we don't communicate with our audience. Why would we need a community for that? So
uh,
why you're smart?
why is a company so smart?
Yeah.
We do employ some very smart people. That's probably a large reason as to why. And I've only been here for 6 months, so I don't know
And
the
they already
exact
had a
background or
community.
how this kind of started off. But yeah, it just seems, for a business of our nature, it seems quite logical to have this open support forum available for our users,
And
just
how to
because
explain to everybody else that everybody needs a community. Okay, maybe not everybody, but mostly people need a community.
um I think it's not about explaining to
It's never
people, like
slap.
we're
Like she's like free slap, slap as a service. That's what she does.
lab as a service. I mean, it's SaaS, right? It's the nature of like premium developer tools, SaaSes, that devs can really like to read about things before going out and kind of asking their own question if something's already been asked. So at least it's been in my experience anyway, and so it just kind of
Mm,
works.
right. But you were talking about discourse because that's indexed. I mean,
Yes,
Google robots go
yes,
and index your forums.
which is
But
beautiful, because that's how we gonna get SEO ranking as well.
Mhm. And then we go to Discord for the real time stuff, and it's there, but it's not indexed. and it's like you're either there or you don't see what's going on. So, and again, that's on the company budget. So how do you inspire the company to also have this real-time interaction tool that is not indexed, that is just extra and complementary to what already works?
Very good question. Like as a DevRel team, we are lucky to have a huge amount of trust placed upon us, and just like we're free to do experimentation like this. Um, and yeah, like for myself, like if I'm thinking about how things were when things were normal, things were things. You would go to a meetup. You would go to a meetup, interact with people in meet space, and essentially like whatever questions happened, whatever conversations happened in that meetup, they would still kind of just linger on there. Any connections you made would still kind of be confined to that essentially four-walled space, and then not leave that space unless you explicitly wanted it to do. And that's something that an indexed forum does not offer, whereas something like Discord does, which obviously is a complementary. It's a complementary tool, so they don't serve the same purpose, and we're trying to make it very clear that they don't serve the same purpose. One of the things that I had explicitly wanted to avoid when setting up this for meetups was make everyone in the community know that this is not a support avenue. They're not going to get like instant answers if they kind of go in and say, "Hey, how do I configure this?" It'd be just crickets, and maybe someone will see it outside of a meetup and say, "Hey, we don't answer these kind of questions here. Maybe you should go into this indexed place where it's likely that it's already been answered."
How
So
do
it's
you
just like
measure
this.
that? Yeah. Go on. Finish. Sorry.
Uh, so yeah, it's just this kind of discipline that needs to happen to make sure that we're kind of strict with that, and yeah.
There is probably a little delay on my side. That's why I keep breaking in the inappropriate moments. But I was about to ask the effectiveness question. Like, how do you measure that your community is effective? Like, what metrics are you using? Are the metrics are different for your community since you have like two of them?
So yeah, I mean, obviously, the support, the main forum community is obviously how quickly do we get to responses, that kind of stuff, and uh, that's like a very common metric for a support forum. For Discord, I think we are still too small to measure this in any kind of significant way. Uh, I would imagine we would kind of see like things that I would like to see in our kind of online meetups, online events would be like retention, how many people log in and keep contributing to conversation on a regular cadence. So let's say if we have a meetup this month, how many people have come like as a repeat visitors from last month, essentially. So that's a good that's a good metric for that. And but that's exactly the same metrics you want to see in a like meet space meetup, right? Because it's like how many repeat customers do you have? How many people keep coming to your thing and telling others, "Hey, this is awesome. You should check out CircleCI's online meetups because you can get free cool flag and stuff and all that stuff." So um and yeah, that's kind of what I imagine will our kind of metrics and measurements are going to look like in the future. But for now, it's just like as many interactions we get, we're happy.
Are there any special tools that you're using or setting up for the future?
So yeah, we rely on Orbit for most of our community measurements. Obviously, we're not alone in that. You've had Josh here, and I think you are also Orbit fans. I see Ole is
Yeah, we like them. We like
nodding.
them a lot. They're very nice human beings, and the
Absolutely.
tech is fun. It's while you're in orbit, uh, and well, Karina is in orbit apparently, and you're in orbit, and I'm in orbit. Larry is not. Nah, 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 nah. So, can you talk a bit about what actually meant this to you, like to bring this measurement thing that you have to program and get some numbers out of it, and then probably present it to your boss, or is it just the numbers that you used to enjoy to justify, I don't know, all this discourse stuff?
Uh, Obviously, we want the business to be as successful as possible, and for that, we want our community to be as successful as possible. And yeah, numbers do help with that. And as an organization, CircleCI is very keen on seeing like this data centric approach. So that's always a good thing uh, to help with adoption of a tool like that. And Orbit, in my experience, just makes the most sense for developer communities, just because of how hacky it is, how extensible it is, and how uh, specific to developer communities it is.
Yeah, we rave a lot about Orbit on these streams, but we're gonna invite more companies who provide similar tools to not rave only about one thing. I'm also looking on your Twitch, and especially on the schedule, and well, it looks empty.
Yes,
And and then your meetups on your Discord, and it's also like not that you have a lot of that like scheduled. And
yes,
can you talk a bit more about I don't know if how do you engage your community overall, especially that it's quite huge and international?
yeah. So a big part that we haven't talked about yet is our social presence as well, which is our Twitter following, especially. That's we have, I think, 40K on of followers on our kind of main CircleCI Twitter, and there is a whole different world over in our Japanese language Twitter. Um, and that's kind of good driver for our events, for participation, that kind of stuff. People do check it out and do follow what we do. Um, yeah, so how do we encourage participation? We post stuff on social. We have, like, I'm a member of many Slack communities, Discord communities, and you have probably seen me post links to what we're doing in places.
Yes.
And that's just kind of this more grassroots promotion that obviously you need to be doing when you're kind of starting out this new initiative.
I'm still thinking about the professional part. So people come for support, but also perhaps to find like-minded people. This is like come for the product, stay for the community. I think it still applies to any professional communities. So do you have anything for people to stay, or do they just get the answer to their questions and they leave? How do you retain them in the community so they come to your events, become your probably evangelists and the like?
Uh, we offer them
Swag.
prizes, swag, and awards. Like just on Monday, we had an amazing workshop with a colleague of mine, and yeah, we basically had, I think, around 30 people sticking around for the duration of like a 3 hour workshop, essentially. And we had an interactive kind of challenge in the end, and some we gave a bunch of people swag, and we drew some prizes from people who kind of learned something and built something. So yeah, that's like a good driver to kind of get people in. And we are doing like we had this work from home package that was Katie, my colleague.
It has CircleCI socks, yes.
Good,
Yes.
good. They're really awesome, and yeah, that was super popular, and community appreciates that, like, because it's just like this kind of thoughtful gesture that we can offer, and with prizes, with things that we offer, we always want to be as topical as possible. So if we're doing something for a DevOps community, obviously we might do like DevOps books, for example, as a prize. I have one there, and you might see Emily Freeman's book. It's amazing. Um, but if it's like a Python specific event or meetup, then we might do some courses for that as a prizes. So
Should we make some merch for our community?
Yes,
yes,
like stickers. Like stickers, hand drawn stickers and avatars. My question is very, I know, about the future, or is it maybe about the present? As in, perhaps at some point the world gonna get to normal ish. Do you already have a budgets for going to events? Did you already discuss this in your company? Or is 2021 like work from home strictly? No events, no sponsorship, and the like. Do you have a policy? Do you have a plan?
uh, to my knowledge, I think we're kind of deciding that on a quarter to quarter basis. The very, very earliest we might consider going back to live events might be, yeah, like I think July ish, or even later on, basically, depending on the
Live
local
or hybrid
situations.
event?
Um, I personally don't see anything happening outside of like very local meetups and very small gatherings.
Mm-hmm.
Which, having said that, I would love to do like hybrid events, because I think that hybrid events are absolutely fantastic way to have this in-person communication plus this kind of universal approachability to what we're doing, to the content that we're kind of creating, to what we're producing, and as a
And what
speaker,
is
like
hybrid? What is hybrid? Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I understand what the term means, but what do you put
yeah.
in this
I
term?
would I would imagine for my meetups it would be like, I'm based in London. I probably won't want or be able to travel outside my kind of local region. So let's say I'm sticking in London, maybe going to a different city, but not really leaving the country for events. So, but we might still be able to invite people over into a meetup space that's obviously following all the regulations, guidelines of the time, which I don't know what they will be and when, but this is purely speculation, and essentially have a live presentation to a live audience, which is also live streamed and moderated over on an online community, so that you have essentially best of both worlds. Obviously, there is a lot more.
I'm still listening to you, and I'm thinking. I mean, you mentioned online community, like streaming to online community, engaging with online community, but like throughout the rest 20 minutes, we've discussed that you actually have Discord, Twitter, Twitch, and these are really different communities. They interlap a bit. So, what,
I would say
like,
a lot,
a lot? Okay.
but I mean,
So, same
it's
folks
a
on all the
Venn diagram.
platforms, or what do you
I would
consider
imagine,
online community
yeah,
for yourself or
I would
communities?
imagine that right now, our Discord communities are a subset of our Twitter and Discuss communities. There's like very few people who might engage with us on Discord, but not on any other kind of avenues like Twitter or or forum. but that's just kind of because that's kind of growing in that way. Eventually, I'm hoping that we kind of extend that and that becomes its own little ecosystem, but still confined to live events and these kind of interaction and live events. And Discord is currently the best tool for that. It's not ideal, but it's the best
There we
tool
go.
for that.
There we go. I mean, that's pretty much the goal of this conversation, to rave about Discord. Um,
But hybrid events, is there something super specific that you're doing to connect the online and offline? And is there actually need for you to do so? Maybe there is no need, and you can
Uh,
just stream what's happening offline, and that will be enough.
I mean, what the beauty of a hybrid approach is that it gives like streaming what happens offline is essentially broadcasting. It's not really engaging with the community. I would really like to see some kind of back and forth communication happen. And whether that's done through, like, I have not thought this through because there has been no need to do that because there is no live events and or no hybrid events at the horizon. But I would imagine it would be some person moderating and making sure that questions, reactions, kind of bubble up to the offline speakers, and maybe even combining offline speakers and online speakers so that you have both parts of the table. For a speaker, I would very much prefer speaking to a live audience because I do I do get this I do get a lot of energy from speaking to a live audience. I get to
People
have
on
like
Twitch, they seem alive to me. Are they
people are
alive enough for you?
people are on Twitch are very opaque usernames to me, unfortunately, and
Orange, your name is opaque.
that's problem. That's a problem I have with Discord as well because it's just too rooted in this gaming pseudonym community or like subculture
Hmm.
that it doesn't translate as well as it should or could into a professional setting. Having said that, like
Bingo.
that's the best tool we have.
That's so funny to discuss. Since I mean, being a game developer throughout, like through the roots, I literally haven't done anything else in my like after I finished university, just been working in game development. And I just don't understand why being called at evangelist 0505 is not professional. I mean, this is how I feel, or like she's bezumna, and that is it, and that's for sure, through her, through herself.
E-
Yes, and that's it.
I,
And
I've
like
seen like
animated avatar or like anime prints as an avatar. And is it professional? Well, this is how I feel. Why? I mean, as an artist, for example, I this is how I see myself, and that's it. Tell me it's not professional. And people don't sort of more agree with you. I would say that more of the people that I've I have discussed this with, they mostly on your side, not on my side.
because I'm right. Um,
Yes.
so in a nutshell, I think that um, there has always been like maybe in the game development space it's different because I've not been in that space, so I can't talk. I can't speak for that space. But like Discord, if you think about it, and Twitch, there's like people with gaming pseudonyms that have also professional lives and they don't necessarily overlap. And I've seen so many people who refuse to use Discord for professional communities because they have their second life. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
pun
Mm-hmm.
intended. They have their second life in there, and they don't want their gaming persona in there. That's why I think it's better to go with like and I'm not a fan of how Slack does it with like all different user accounts, but there is some merit to having like a clear um, list of community members with their somewhat tweaked out profiles or filled in profiles so that you can maybe search who might work for some company or where they might be. So you get a little bit of more of context in which is very valuable in a professional setting. And that's just not available in a tool like Twitch or Discord, which is my problem with Twitch and Discord.
Interesting thing happened last week, I think. Lera, you joined a Discord community that Geek One Game Industry Gathering that required you to use your real name, like to rename yourself for the server.
So I love this server. I was
Yes.
like, why the fuck do you need my name? Fuck you, I'm leaving.
Yeah, she was very kind. And one of the previous streams, we had Jonash, and he was pretty much saying exactly what you were saying right now. So just as an example of, I don't know, is it a culture clash? Is it, yeah, something which is very interesting to explore and figure out. Since, I mean, with the whole year, or actually more than a year already, staying at home and being online only, we have to figure out the new culture and perhaps redefine what is professional, what is a community. Previously, we would have had the leftover slacks from the online conferences, and I know how many Slack servers do we have now? How many Discord servers do we have now? How does it scale? I'm throwing questions at you because you're right. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's we don't have a good like I've been member of like Slack communities for conferences, and I've seen in a new year they would kind of start a new server for Slack for a like 2018 to 2019 conference, which is like weird but okay. But yeah, I mean, it's like I know there is like this culture clash, and but there's still too much Wild West over here. Like it's way outside of my comfort zone, at least for my professional sense in this Discord, in the current Discord state of things. How like what a good balance would be, I don't know, maybe a Discord that you log in with Twitter or GitHub or something, that some identity that sticks around rather than just or maybe LinkedIn even, like depending on your requirements.
Ew, what are you saying? No, no.
That's how
But
we
you-
scare away the Zoomers.
but you mentioned GitHub on GitHub. You're also Zan Markan, I think, and I'm on
Yes.
Discord as on GitHub as the evangelist, and many people are like use their nicknames on GitHub. How is GitHub professional with the same nickname?
It's still a lot less transient than a Twitch or a Discord username is, because like you don't create, maybe you create a new GitHub for a new company that you work for, and you have like a new email address and you want that kind of separation. So that might be one reason why someone would have two. The rest is just like one thing that kind of sticks with you for a very long time.
But Discord lets you have different nicknames for different servers.
Yes, but how is that encouraged, or how is that really enforced, not encouraged?
In welcome notes, for example, on that geek server that Lera didn't survive.
Yeah.
Sorry, but do people read those?
You have
I'm
to.
very skeptical.
You have
No,
to,
actually, yeah.
Okay.
You can force people to read if this is the only channel that you can read in the whole
Mm.
server when you enter it. So you're like, okay. But still, I left because I don't want people to see my name.
Yeah, and then I mean, back to your GitHub. Look,
I think
this picture, you wouldn't put this on LinkedIn, right? But like you're comfortable putting this on GitHub, and I'm not pushing on you. It's just a very interesting topic because we are reinventing ourselves, being online and figuring out who we are and how do we all see each other.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
And
like, for me, perhaps like obviously there is a profile picture that I have in there, which is yeah. I think I actually had it in LinkedIn for a time, but anyway, it's like my handle I use pretty much everywhere, just because it's made out of my first and last names, which made sense at the time. Just because I signed up too late to be Zan, which was the main prize anyway. Um, so yeah, that's kind of my take on things. Like I've definitely had my share of nonsensical or vanity usernames, but kind of outgrown them in favor of something that's like more constant in my life, and that could be very well like a non like a proper nickname, and I'm completely fine by that. It's just like people having a bunch of different nicknames across a bunch of different identities, and it's just like super hard to know who they are, and how to enforce rules in that community. Then obviously you can.
let's switch to people channel and discuss that because we're out
Yeah.
of our lifetime.
Let's go.
Let's
Woohoo.
just go to people channel. It's
Let's go.
let's
Okay.
go.
Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.